Festive seasons are around the corner and you're taking a look at the December BTO, wondering which to apply for. Well, don't worry, this video, we got you covered. Hey, it's Elliot, welcome. After the recent news of the 3-category BTO kind of partition that's happening sometime in mid of 2024, these next few BTOs will be more important than ever. They'll probably be the last few BTOs that you can snag up that have a very good criteria or condition that isn't bound by the new upcoming rules. And fortunately, we have 6,000 units coming up, spreading over 7 districts and 8 sites in total. It's slightly smaller than the October launch, but let's take a look at what we have, and of course stick to the end if you want to see which is my favorite of the bunch. I've also prepared a how to choose your dream BTO checklist, but more of that at the end of the video. Let's get to our first site. Bedok is our largest site for the December BTO with 1,230 units and has 3, 4, 5 and community care apartments. So what's this community care apartment? Can you apply for it? Well, these units are specifically designed for individuals that are above 55 years old, and the units are designed to specifically cater to the needs of the elder population. Something really cool about this units is that the tenure for these places are only up to 35 years. So normally your BTO is 99 years, this one is 35, which kind of makes sense. You don't really need 99 years if you're already 55 years old. Let's zoom in on the location. We're located in the older neighborhood of Chai Chi area to the north, 100 meters from the PIE slip lane, which isn't too great, I would say. Town center with all your interesting food is over here. Problem is, it's across the main road that doesn't look too easy to cross. Something cool, you do get a factory outlet mall over here and Bedok Mall as well. Let's take a look at the master plan as well to get a sense of how the place would look like in a few years' time. This is our site, a big plot of land, so not easy to guess how tall the buildings will be, especially since we don't get the plot ratio. To the left here, our light industry will be remaining. We've got some secondary schools down here, no real primary schools in the area, tiny garden down here, and you're not really close to any MRTs over here. Closest being Bedok, which is quite a distance away. For a very developed neighborhood like Bedok, this BTO doesn't seem to really capture the full essence of that, so not too great of a start, I would say. Let's hope our second neighborhood changes that. For Bishan, only 3 and 4 bedrooms totaling 730 units. And we are actually in quite a nice and quiet neighborhood of Marymount. You're near 2 secondary schools, a small neighborhood park, and food area about 600 meters away. 600 meters south, you're also near the Upper Thompson Road, which has a ton of eateries, tons of food, and your closest MRT station as well. Now jumping into the master plan, our plot is here with 3.5 plot ratio. Now that is insanely high, and if you look at just the zoning, this means that this stack can go up to 30 stories. Whether it does so or not, that's a different thing, right? Light industry above our plot here, and there's actually some really good food at this semicircle HDB area here as well. Just up here, you're also quite close to the Bishan Ang Mo Kio Park. Now what I'm seeing is that if you get north-facing stacks on high floors here, I'm betting you'll get amazing views of the Bishan Ang Mo Kio Park. So really fingers crossed. We're headed down to Bukit Merah, and in this BTO we have 900 units with a mix of 2, 3, 4 rooms. 5 rooms don't seem to be a thing in Bukit Merah. Past BTOs have also done this for some reason. Now we're along the semi-busy stretch of Alexandra Road, north side facing the new park connector and canal, not really built up as of now, as you can see. Now I do see them sprucing up the area with this BTO coming up. Also 400 meters from Red Hill MRT, a really rectangular parcel which has me to believe the stacks here will be at a slant. And not be directly north-south facing. That's just how it works. Besides that, nearby you've got Delta Sports Complex here and a few primary school options down here. If you ever think of having a kid, always good to be near primary schools, right? Jumping into the master plan, our stack here is 513, and that is absolutely massive. Together with the May 2022 BTO, I foresee these two to be a very iconic BTO in the neighborhood, HDB in the neighborhood, and of course, if you know what that means, a very iconic BTO. Generally, they do pretty well. Red Hill Market down here, you might be opposite a place of worship also over here, so take note if this concerns you. So we are going to head to Bukit Panjang next. This December BTO has a really unique mix of 2 and 4 room flats, hosting a small unit count of only 330 units. From the map, we've got HDB blocks all around, a small rectangular park right in front of the parcel. It's not even a park, from what I see, it's actually a badminton court, but that's still something. Along Petir Road, we are 4 minutes from Petir LRT, quite a few primary and secondary schools dotted around the area as well. Masterplan outside is here with a plot ratio of 3, which is not much higher than the surrounding blocks, so unblocked views will be a bit of a challenge here. Going down 800 meters from Petir Road, we are quite close to the Bukit Panjang Mall cluster actually, so quite good on amenities, just a little bit far. Highway wise, the BTE is also super close. Overall, this BTO is pretty average. Up next, we're going to Jurong West. Near Jurong West Street 42, our plot has 410 units with all the major room types available. Now, this is probably the first time in 2 years where we don't actually see Tengah in this entire list, but somehow Tengah still manages to find its way through because this Jurong West side is so close to Tengah, we might as well consider it as Tengah. As you can see past the canal and PIE to the north, we have our Tengah neighborhood right over here. Jurong Temple on the right, so take note if this is a concern. More than 10 primary and secondary schools in the Jurong West neighborhood. You're really spoiled for choices on that front. Jurong West Market, 800 meters away, and another eatery here too. Got a cool swimming complex also here, like 1 km away. On the master plan, our plot ratio is over here at 3. Now looking at old HDBs, the stacks will be about 50 meters from the highway. On high floors, this facing overlooks the amazing lake coming up in Tengah though, so a bit of a pro and con there, I guess. But if you want to play safe, you always have the south-facing stacks. Next up on the list, let's take a look at the Queenstown BTO. Queenstown at the December BTO, we are back at Dover Forest area with 890 units holding both 3 and 4 room flats. If I'm not mistaken, this will be the last piece of land in the Dover Forest area for now, unless more decides to be cleared. Outside is here. To the north, we have a small canal and some landed homes, which means pretty amazing unblocked views for homes facing that direction. The site is also directly in front of Dover MRT, which is pretty amazing in terms of accessibility, but not too desirable because the tracks are above ground, and that means it will be noisy for low floor stacks. Actually, even high floor stacks will be a bit of a concern. Past the stacks though is Singapore Polytechnic and a few secondary schools in the area as well. NUS is also quite close nearby. On the master plan, this plot is 3.6, which is slightly higher than its neighbours, but the site is also red, which means that there will be a bit of commercial on the first story, which probably explains the higher plot ratio. The 2 final BTOs for December is at Woodlands, and both our sites are actually right beside each other. So the first one we're looking at is the one here at only 380 units with 3 and 4 rooms, and the larger wedge-shaped plot here has 840 units with all room types. Now the map here is really busy, so let's take a look at it slowly to try and understand what's going on behind this whole thing. First of all, both sites are sandwiched between 2 landmarks of Woodlands, the MRT and shopping malls here, as well as the sports center slash swimming complex over here. In fact, we're just 3 minutes from the MRT slash bus interchange from the smaller plot. We've got a large park down here, small park down here, another small shopping center down here, myriad of primary and secondary schools in the area, and also right beside we have a park connector. On the master plan, the smaller site has the highest plot ratio in a 1 km radius, so this site might have quite amazing views if you're on the higher floors. But note that the above ground MRT rail is also south of this site, so noise might be a concern if you're in that particular direction. Try to avoid that as best as you can. The larger site has a plot ratio of 3.5, and for some reason it's zoned as commercial. Now this is the second time it has happened, so I really don't know what's up with URA's master plan. Now 3.5 relative to other zonings is pretty average, but if you get stacks on high floors that face the older HDB right over here, you might get some really good views. But one thing to comment, also similar to the other side, this is right in front of a bus interchange and really close to the above ground railway, so a lot of noise is going to be generated in the area. It's kind of a trade-off between accessibility and noise. Depending on how the stacks will be oriented, this BTO will be really noisy on certain directions, but again, this BTO is so convenient. It really depends whether the trade-off is worth it to you. Well, that was quite a lot of sites to go through. Gotta say, the BTOs for December are overall pretty strong, with some weak ones dotted in as well. Note that prices aren't really factored in when I look at these, well, because prices aren't out yet. With that said, let's score them and see which is the best site, in my opinion. The Bedok BTO in a quiet and older neighborhood with surprisingly not much amenity nearby. Also, north side is facing the highway, which isn't great, and not the most accessible BTO, I would say. 4.10. Bishan BTO, we've got great zoning, which means really high stacks, good views, you're near popular eateries, in a quiet and a central neighborhood as well, but not the closest to MRT. You're about 600 meters minutes away. 7 out of 10. Bukit Merah BTO, 5 minutes from Bukit Merah MRT, near a cool canal/park connector kind of area. Good schools nearby and probably one of the highest plot ratio we've seen in a long time, which means one popular and iconic BTO coming up. Only negative probably is that it's a PLH and it's near a main road, so 9 out of 10. Bukit Panjang BTO in a quiet neighborhood, 5 minutes away from an LRT that is 1 to 2 stops from the Bukit Panjang shopping mall cluster. Decent schooling options as well, and surprisingly average in terms of plot ratio, 6 out of 10. Our pseudo Tengah BTO, which is the one at Jurong West, close to 2 food centers, more than 10 primary/secondary schools in the area. However, really close to the highway and you're not really close to any MRT. And you're also not really close to any shopping malls. A 5 out of 10. The Queenstown BTO is at the Dover Forest area. Dover MRT right at your doorstep and pretty unblocked views in certain directions. You're quite close to popular malls and schools. However, the stacks might be a little bit noisy if you're facing trackside, and you're also not too close to many food centers. Also, it's likely going to be PLH. So because of that, 8 upon 10. The two at Woodlands BTO are super close, so we'll rate them together. Very, very close to cornerstone developments like your malls, your schools, your recreation, your accessibility as well, which is absolutely amazing. However, some of the stacks might be facing trackside, and trackside is very noisy. Location is also very not central, so I rank it 7 upon 10. My favorite BTO has to go to the 2 PLH site with Bukit Merah coming up on top. It's crazy high zoning, it's going to be super popular and iconic. I think almost akin to Pinnacle at Duxton or Skyville Dawson. Skyville at Dawson? It's probably gonna be one of the tallest BTO we've seen as well. Now, investment is something you're looking at as well. Non-PLH sites like the Bishan one is all around really solid option. Probably my favorite site because I do want a bit of a balance of both, and I like the neighborhood as well. But also do not sleep on the Woodlands BTO. I think it's really gonna stand out in the coming few years, especially with the Prime Plus model kind of coming up. This will probably be one of the last few BTOs that will be so close to the MRT, at the same time not being restricted by the scheme. Well, there we have my coverage of the December 2023 BTO. So I've been reviewing BTOs for about 2.5 years now, and I've been seeing quite a bit of interest from you guys in terms of what you guys want and what you guys want to see. So I've decided to create a how to choose your dream BTO checklist, which you can access in the description below. You can think of it like an early Christmas present. It's completely free. If you still have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. If you feel your question is a little bit more personal, you can reach out to me on my Instagram. It's right over here. Thank you for all the support. If you like my videos, give me a like, and if you don't, give me a dislike. I'm totally cool with that. That's a wrap. I hope you had a great day, and till next time.